Hi, I'm Miss Susan.
And I'm Miss Rosemary.
Welcome to Virtual Mini Math Monsters.
Today we're going to talk about what maps are used for, make a map of a plant, and show you how to make a map of your neighborhood.
So grab the kit that you picked up at the Children's Services desk and let's get started. So first thing I want to talk about is types of maps. So there are, maps I'm sure you know of are maps of like your neighborhood and maps of the world and that kind of thing, to find your way around. Here's a map of a neighborhood, which in your kit you're going to get the materials to make a map for yourself. Here's another example of a map with a grid on it. So this is a neighborhood map with a grid on it. And then, something you might want to do at home is you can make a map of your bedroom. One of the things I used to do as a kid is I would make a map of my bedroom and lay out where I want to put everything, and then I'd ask my mom and dad if it was okay. So that's something that you might find useful when you get older, is you can plan out your bedroom before you move everything around. Another thing we have here that I want to show you is, now this one's kind of big. This is a map of our planet, of the continents. And this one's called a physical map. A physical map will show you where the mountains and the forests and the deserts and that kind of thing. This does not show you, this is a continent, but it does not show you where like the United States is or the different countries over in Europe. This is actually just a physical map. And then I wanted to show you, this is actually the continents but with the countries outlined. So you can see the difference. This just shows you the names of the continents or the names of the countries. Let me see if there's continents listed. No, they don't list the continents, but it just lists the countries and where they are. So that's another type. We also map our universe. So we have in here, this one's a little difficult to read, but you get the idea. This is our solar system, a map of our solar system showing our sun and our planets. And I'm pretty sure our moon is not on there. So this is just the planets. And then I want to show you also in this book, there is a map of our moon. So we've been exploring our moon for quite a while. And we have, I don't know if I have that up high enough for the camera, but we have named a bunch of the areas, all those craters on the moon. They're all named. You can see them on that book. And you can get any of these atlases here in the library. And a lot of them I'll have listed on our little handout that comes with your kit. Another thing that you have is a treasure map. Those are really cool. This is an example of a treasure map. The pirates used treasure maps. Yes, they did. They used maps, but they did a lot of coding. And another thing that we do maps of is other things like our bodies, plants. We're going to have that's in our kit, is to map a plant. And with our bodies, we have parts of our bodies also will have maps. And this one is a map of an eye. So this is the different parts in your eyeball. So we have maps of a lot of different things. We show all sorts of maps. There's maps under the sea, like showing where all the valleys and ridges are, the mountains in the oceans. We have maps of, like I said, body parts or plants or animals. We have maps for anything that you need to study. If you need to study endangered species, there's maps for that showing where they're more populated or where you can find them. We have political maps, which will show you flags and where different governments are. There's all sorts of maps. So now we'll move on to the next step. So now I'm going to show you how to map a plant. So this is an example of what we are going to do. And in your kit, you're going to get the green piece of paper, or green, I should say construction paper, a darker piece of construction paper, a flower top, and a piece of yarn as the stem. So I'm going to get started here. The first thing that I like to do is I like to draw my line for where the ground is. So the dirt is right here. I'm going to have a base for my dirt, or I should say for my ground. So that's my ground. That's where the yarn's going to go through. Oh, you will need, sorry about that, you'll need some markers or crayons. You'll need some glue. You could use paste, but glue, liquid glue would be better for the yarn to stick. You'll need some scissors, and that's about it. We're going to supply everything else. So I'm going to put the yarn in here first, and I need to cut it a little shorter than what I need, or what I have. So I'm going to start up here, and I'm just going to make a little squiggly line like that. And you want to go all the way in, because a plant goes under the ground. It is not just above the ground. And that's what we're going to show when we draw our map on it. Are parts of the plant, which will symbolize our map. So I'm just going to put the yarn down. This could get a little messy. This is fun though. You can always wash your hands. Glue comes off. I'm just going to tap that down, and then I'm going to cut it right here. Perfect. So that's done. Now normally I would say let this dry, but I think it's okay to be able to do everything else while it's still damp. Okay, so I'm going to put in some roots. Oh, actually we might use the brown for that. I think that'd be nicer. That way you show difference in colors. So the roots are down here, and then we're going to label that. So I'm going to just draw some roots. It's really easy. You just kind of swiggle stuff on. There is nothing perfect about roots. I'm going to tell you that right now. I have pulled a lot of plants or removed weeds and trees and bushes out of my yard over the years, and none of them have ever been perfect. They're never perfect. They're whatever they are. They go around rocks on the ground. They do everything. So we're going to label that with roots. I'm going to put roots right here with a little arrow indicating that that's the roots. Okay, so then we're going to take the flower. I'm going to go ahead and glue the flower up here right away. So we have the actual flower up here. Now this you could definitely use paste. I'm just going to put a little glue since that's what I have handy. We're just going to throw that up there. There. Now if you don't want to put a flower, you don't have to. Your plant doesn't have to have flowers. You could just make the whole thing a green leafed plant, and we're going to, inside the kit, you're already going to have a piece of dark green construction paper, which you will need to cut the leaves, so you could actually just cut more leaves. Now, Miss Rosemary cut a whole bunch of these for me ahead of time, so that I would just need to put them on, so you can just glue them on. I'm not going to glue all of them right now. I'm just going to show you how to do this. Now, you can glue these on. You could glue some and draw others. That combination is always a cool one. So you could do some like this. And then she gave me some little, let's see if I can do this without gluing it to myself. I'm going to glue it to myself because I think that's more fun. And there's a little bud. It could be a bud of another stem, a bud of another flower. And then I'm just going to put another one over, let's see, I'll put one over here and to show you that. And we just put one here, like that. And you just keep going. And then you can put details in here. We want to remember our labeling, because remember, that's what makes it a map. Okay, otherwise it's just a picture of a plant or a picture of a flower. but you've got to make sure you map everything. So this is a petal. And there are, in a flower, there's a lot of different parts to a flower. Just like the eyeball map I showed you, it wasn't just an eyeball. There are lots of parts to our eyes, a lot of parts to our eyes. So, oh, and I want to do this. Actually, I'm going to take this one to do it. And you can use a colored one. I'm just going to use a black one. And you can just put some there in the center, like that. And then we have our stem here. And then we have a leaf right here. And then let's see if I can get the bud drawn in. I think I'm going to do it out like this. There we go. So maps like this of a plant specifically, when you do a map of a plant, it is meant for identification purposes. It's usually scientific. So a scientist that studies plants would make these types of maps of a plant. So that's the purpose of that. And now we're going to go on to Miss Rosemary and talking about some of the games that are included in your kit.
The next thing we're going to do is give you a couple of fun activities that we actually got off the Fountaindale Library website, going under looking for e-resources, and then go to homework help and scroll down till you see Scholastic Teachables. And then you can search maps, mapping, or anything you want to learn. There's a whole bunch of information in there. So we have a map mystery, and it tells you there's questions you got to answer, tells you how it works on maps. There's, like we were talking about, the treasure hunt. So we have that here. There's treasure hunts, you have to search for that. And there's one last thing, it's a treasure hunt mini book, which is very simple. You can color it, you can do what you want with it, and then you have to put it together. So I don't know if you can see, there's a small dotted line there, so we're just going to cut on that dotted line. And the pages are numbered. Put that one there. And then again, we're going to cut on the dotted line. That makes the book, and you can just staple here on the edge. And I'm not going to go through it because you get to have the fun of figuring out what it says. Now we're going to make a community map of your neighborhood.
So some of the items that you're going to have in your kit are going to be some black contact paper. We're going to have it pre-cut into strips to represent your roads. And we're going to have a big white piece of paper, a sheet of paper in there. Now Miss Rosemary is laying out some roadways. So you can see now, we usually, when we would do this in person, we had that huge map that you kids got to put all your buildings and everything around. So we're trying to allow you to still do that, but yet we're going to use the contact paper, which means you get to keep it. It'll be something you can reuse and rebuild with. And then we're going to give you an assortment of houses and barns and some trees and things like that. Each kit will have a few items in it. So Miss Rosemary's just throwing some around. Make sure, well, not throwing, but placing some of these around. And that's how you'll do your little community. We'll probably, we're going to grab some houses too. Unfortunately, we only had the barns and the school buildings handy. But this, oh, and don't forget, This is a library symbol, okay? We need to make sure we have our library in your neighborhood. And you'd have a house, you could, oh, here, we even have a farm. Look, we have a farm with the animals around it.
Move the library over here.
Okay, we're gonna put the library maybe over here
By the
because it won't
school.
smell so bad either. I wanna make sure it smells nice. But you can adapt, you can trim these, you could, do some different, you could draw. We could all draw on this. So let's put some things in this. Let's see here.
I'm gonna draw a house.
I am gonna draw a little lake, a little pond for the animals over here. So I'm gonna put the blue in there. So this is fun. You can get your crayons out and really have fun with this. And I'm sure some of you might even have Matchbox cars. You could use your Matchbox cars to drive around on your road and do all kinds of things like that. I hope you had as much fun today as we did. We'll be back next month to learn about geometry and build a house.
Be sure to register and pick up your kit next month. See you next time.
Bye.